Namaskar kids, I am Partho Ghosh from the Vedic IQ. In our last video, we saw the intriguing story of the jackal and the war drum where Damnak shared a valuable lesson with the king Pinglak about not being afraid of mere sounds. The king, realizing the importance of facing his fears, decided to listen to Damnak's advice and explore the truth behind his fears. Damnak also advised the bull Sanjeevak to work together in harmony and told him the story of Dantil the merchant and Goram the servant. So in today's video, we will uncover the story of a wealthy merchant named Dantil and his encounter with Goram, a lowly sweeper. Are you excited to dive into this tale of revenge, forgiveness, and the consequences of pride? So let us begin our adventure in the city of Bardhaman, where Dantil, a prosperous merchant, held a grand wedding reception attended by the king, the queen, and many other influential people. However, Dantil's happiness turned into anger when he spotted Goram, a sweeper, occupying a seat reserved for the noble guests. Insulted by this sight, Dantil ordered his servants to throw Goram out of his house. Goram was deeply hurt. He thought he was of no match to the merchant, but he wanted to take revenge on him somehow. Deeply hurt by this humiliation, he devised a plan to seek revenge on Dantil. Early one morning, while the king was sleeping, Goram pretended to sweep the king's bedroom and started murmuring loudly that he saw Dantil embracing the queen. How dare Dantil? How could he embrace the queen? He murmured as he swept the floor. This gossip reached the king's ears, leaving him disturbed and demanding an explanation. Faced with the king's question, Goram, feigning forgetfulness, mentioned that he was drowsy from gambling all night and he could not recall what he said. He said, "Oh, your majesty, I spent all the night gambling. I feel so drowsy that I do not even remember what I said about Dantil." However, the king believed that men often reveal their secrets in their sleep. He started believing that Dantil had indeed embraced the queen. Consequently, the king barred Dantil from entering the royal household. Dantil, innocent of any wrongdoing, felt immense grief and pondered over his unfortunate fate. But fate works in mysterious ways. An unexpected turn of events awaited Dantil. One day, Goram warned the king's men who were stopping Dantil from entering the palace. He said to the guards, "You fools! You are barring the great Dantil who has won the king's favors. He is powerful. If you stop him, you will meet with the same fate as I did at the hands of Dantil one day." Intrigued, Dantil saw an opportunity to win Goram's confidence and make amends for his past mistakes. Dantil invited Goram for tea. He regretted for his past actions and offered him expensive clothes as a token of reconciliation. He said, "My dear friend, I had never meant to insult you. Kindly pardon me." Pleased by Dantil's gesture, Goram promised to regain the king's favor for him. And you know what he did the next day? The next day, while sweeping the king's floor, Goram murmured, "How disgusting! How could the king eat a cucumber in the toilet?" Confused and certain of his innocence, the king confronted Goram, who repeated his forgetfulness due to a night of gambling. "Oh, your majesty, I spent all the night gambling. I feel so drowsy that I do not remember what I said about you or the cucumber." This revelation made the king realize that if Goram's claim about him were false, then his claims about Dantil were likely false as well. The king understood that someone like Dantil would never have done what Goram had accused him of. Moreover, the king noticed the detrimental effects of Dantil's absence on the state's affairs and civic administration. Realizing his mistake, the king summoned Dantil and restored his authority and favor. Now kids, let's reflect on this story together. The pride of the merchant made him humiliate the sweeper before a lot of guests. This made Goram, the sweeper, take revenge on the merchant. We saw how cleverly Goram taught a lesson to Dantil. And what was the lesson that the merchant learned? He learned that arrogance is a foe and forgiveness is a virtue. So after telling this interesting story to Sanjeevak, Damnak took him to the Lion King Pinglak and introduced him. The bull told his sad story, how his master asked his servants to take care of him when he fell down, and how the servants just left him in the middle of the jungle and run away. After listening to Sanjeevak's story, the Lion King assured him, "Do not worry, my friend, you are safe now. I assure you that I will protect you from the wild animals." And this is how the two jackals, Karkat and Damnak, won the king's trust by helping him overcome his fear of the frightening sound, which turned out to be just the sound of Sanjeevak the bull. The two jackals started taking care of the king's administration and began spending time with the bull. But soon, the closeness of the lion and the bull grew firm, and this started to worry the jackals. Sanjeevak has become the best friend of the king. He no longer pays attention to us. What shall we do now? Damnak asked. Karkat replied, "It is our duty to advise him even if he does not pay attention to us. Elders have always said that even if the king is not willing to heed good advice, it is the duty of his ministers to offer him advice. All of this is happening just because of you, Damnak. Remember, I told you the story of the wedge-pulling monkey? You should have listened to me and not interfere in the problem that was not ours." Damnak nodded. "You are right. This mistake is mine. What happened to the sage and the jackal should not happen to us." Karkat inquired, "What happened to them?" Then Damnak told Karkat the story of the sage and the jackal, which we will explore in the next video. So stay tuned and join me as we continue our journey through the interesting tales of Panchtantra. Until then, remember to be kind, humble, and always ready to forgive. Take care, my little friends. Namaskar.